In this video, I have tried to solve the question paper of UGC-NET, which was held on November 5th, 2017. I have done some sample questions here and have discussed. Giving the answer key won't solve your problem. The discussions of the answers and the choices are important, and you cannot do all the studies of NET online. तो इसलिए आई वुड लाइक टू अनाउंस दैट हम जल्दी ही नेक्स्ट नेट बैच शुरू कर रहे हैं इंग्लिश लिटरेचर में, और आप जिसको भी बिल्कुल पैशन है उसको क्रैक करने का और नया सीखने का, अपना बेस को स्ट्रेंथन करने का, तो आप जयपुर आओ जल्दी से जल्दी। आपके सारे ऑब्स्टिकल्स जो आप मन में सोचते हो कि कैसे जाएंगे, कहाँ रहेंगे, कैसे पढ़ेंगे, घर से इतना दूर, तो आप मान के चलिए यूनिवर्सिटीज आर नॉट एट योर डोर स्टेप. यू कैन नॉट कॉम्प्रोमाइज विद द क्वालिटी ऑफ एजुकेशन. इसलिए आप जल्दी से मानस बनाइए, यहाँ आइए, पढ़िए, अपने बेस को स्ट्रेंथन करिए, लिटरेचर के बारे में नया सीखिए और मास्टर्स बनिए, मतलब नो ऑल बी ऑल बनिए लिटरेचर के बारे में. आपका जो एम है क्रैक करने का वो तो जरूर पूरा होगा, उससे भी ज्यादा आपको कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा, आपको टीचिंग मेथोडोलॉजी पता चलेगी, बिकॉज यहाँ बहुत तरह की एक्सरसाइजेस होती हैं, वीडियोस बनाए जाते हैं. तो आप जरूर आइए, जरूर बनाइए. आप फोन करिए, हमारे फोन नंबर्स हैं, आप हमारी वेबसाइट चेक करिए, और जल्दी ही आपका और हमारा मिलना होगा मिरेकल इंस्टीट्यूट में. और तब तक के लिए गुड बाय, टेक केयर, बेस्ट विशेस, थैंक यू.
Hello and welcome to Miracle, English Language and Literature Institute. I'm Professor Abha Sharma, and I'm pretty sure that you all must be waiting for the answer key of this November 2017 UGC-NET GRF exam. So let's begin with the paper number 3. Students sometimes find it more absurd and difficult. So let us start with this paper. Question number 1. This Byron work revolves around a wife whose husband is presumed lost at sea, and she takes a lover in his absence. Everybody behaves agreeably on the husband's return. Byron's technical skills in verse is in display here, as the work counterpoints the colloquial and the formal. Identify the work. Manfred, Don Juan, Beppo, the Bride of Abydos. Now, the choices are quite confusing because usually students read Don Juan as the main work of Byron. Then there's a choice, the Bride of Abydos, because reading about the wife and husband tale, you may guess this answer, but the right answer is Beppo. Beppo is the Venetian tale written in Venice in 1817 and published in 1818. It is written in Italian octavo rima. Now, there's a Venetian lady called Laura. Her husband is lost at sea since 3 years. She meets the Count, another man, and they both go to a fair. And there they're observed closely by a Turk who is her lost husband, who was captured and then enslaved, and afterwards freed by the pirates. He joins them, and when he had collected enough money, he leaves them and rebaptizes and rejoins Laura. There are literary allusions in Beppo and satirical digressions, and this work displays Byron's technical skills in verse and counterpoints the colloquial and the formal. Therefore, the right answer. Question number 2. Who's the author of the poem A Casuarina Tree? This is the easy one. Of course, Toru Dutt is the right answer, and Toru Dutt is often called as the Indian John Keats. They both wrote so well and both died very, very young. Question number 3. In this Jacobean play, the Black King and his men representing Spain and the Jesuits are checkmated by the White Knight Prince Charles. This political satire drew crowds to the Globe Theatre until the Spanish ambassador protested and James I suppressed the play. Identify the play. The Wonderful Year. This is written by Thomas Dekker. A Game at Chess. And this is written by Thomas Middleton. Probably the right answer. A King and No King, The Night of the Burning Pestle. Both are supposed to be written by Beaumont and Fletcher. So, the right answer is A Game at Chess, written by Thomas Middleton in 1624. And this became very popular, and later it was banned by James I. Question number 4. Frederick Jameson associated postmodern culture with dash capitalism. The most probable answer is multinational. He was an American literary critic who worked on Marxist political theories. So he is known for the analysis of contemporary cultural trends, and he described postmodernism as spatialization. And he also worked on the late capitalism, whether apologia or stigmatization. So the probable answer is multinational. You have to read postmodernism in depth to find the right answer. Question number 5. Early in Evelyn Waugh's A Handful of Dust, while Tony and his young son John Andrew walk to the church, John tells his father's story. He has heard from the stable manager, Ben, about a mule who had drunk his company's rum ration in the First World War and subsequently died. What is the mule named? The correct answer is Peppermint. It dealt with the mule, Peppermint, who had drunk the company's rum ration near Vipers in 1917. It was told breathlessly as John trotted to keep pace with his father. At the end, Tony said, "How very sad." So the correct answer is Peppermint. Question number 6. The Oxford English Dictionary was published in 12 volumes with its current title in the year. The correct answer is 1933. It was previously known as NED, that is New English Dictionary. And it had 10 volumes in 1928, but with 12 volumes it was published in 1933 and is known as OED. That is Oxford English Dictionary, the most popular dictionary in English language. Question number 7. The Life and Opinions of Tristram Shandy, Gentleman, is notorious for its many digressions across 9 volumes and its failure to deliver a complete autobiography. In which volume does Tristram Shandy finally recounts his birth? The probable answer is volume 3. Now, this is written by Lawrence Sterne. It was published in 9 volumes, the first 2 appearing in 1759 and 7 others following over the next 7 years. So, this is a biography of the eponymous character. It is marked by many digressions. It is taken word by word from many literary texts, especially Robert Burton's The Anatomy of Melancholy. The humor is added from Pope and Swift, and it has even taken the context from John Locke's an essay on human understanding. And then it is also based on Cervantes' The Adventures of Don Quixote and has given the term Cervantes. So, the narrator digresses many times before completing the story, and in volume 3 he recounts his birth, and again he takes a long time explaining the labor and how Mrs. Shandy cried and the doctors around, the medical treatment, and everything takes a long time. Tristram Shandy became so popular that it was studied by the formalists and other literary critics as a forerunner of many narrative devices and styles which were later used by the modernist and postmodernist authors like James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, Milan Kundera, and Salman Rushdie. And then it was even adapted as a movie and also adapted as a graphic novel by the cartoonist Martin Rosson. Question number 8. Miguel de Cervantes' inimitable Don Quixote foreshadows metafictional moorings when the novelist. says that the first chapters of the narrative are recreated from the archive of La Mancha. Says that it is a faithful rendering of a Catalan text in Spanish. Says that part of it has been translated from the Arabic by the Moorish author Said Hamiti Benengeli. And the last one says that he is rewriting the history of a medieval knight, altering the heroic vein with a farcical mode. The right combination of the code is what? But here I understand that all the four choices are related to the story of Don Quixote and Sancho Panza. I read this story for the very first time when I was in 7th standard in my school in the English subject. Now here they say that it is recreated from the archive of La Mancha is correct. Then it is of course it is not the faithful rendering, but it has been taken from Catalan text in Spanish, of course. Then the C1 is also correct. Arabic by the Moorish author Said Hamiti Benengeli. Fourth one, I find three answers very much correct. That is A, C and D. A, C, there you don't have an option with D. So the most correct answer is 3, A and C. Cervantes, when he adopted genres, he created new ones. That is the realism and the metafiction. The juxtaposition of high-flown literary fantasies with grubby actuality established realism. And on the other hand, jestfully ostentatious manipulation gave rise to metafiction. What is metafiction? Metafiction means something beyond, something more than the history or say total fictional thing, something more to it. And Cervantes' novel is metafiction because it is the fiction that raises questions about the nature of fiction itself and its methods, procedures, and assumptions. And this term, metafiction, was first used by the writer and philosopher William H. Gass in Philosophy and the Form of Fiction. In this kind of fiction, the author self-consciously alludes to the artificiality or literariness of the work by parodying or departing from novelistic conventions and narrative techniques. So Cervantes' novel fits the description so well. He himself makes it a parody out of the medieval romance. So he himself has taken this genre, and many writers of the modern and the postmodern era, they have cultivated from the techniques of Cervantes too. So Laurence Sterne and Cervantes both have given new styles to the narrative technique of the novel. Question number 9. In his theory of mimesis, Plato says that all art is mimetic by nature. Art is an imitation of life. To argue his case, he gives the example of, the correct answer is chair, of course. He says that whatever you think, whatever idea comes into your mind is the original thing. And when this idea is converted into a thing, it becomes the first copy. And when the painter or the poet recreates it, then this becomes the second copy, that is twice removed from reality. So the carpenter must have got the idea of a chair in his mind, and then he made the chair out of the wood, etc. And then the painter watching the chair makes the painting of the chair that is twice removed from reality. So Plato did not agree that poetry is a bigger art than philosophy. And he disregarded poetry at all on moral, educational, or philosophical grounds. So the correct answer is chair, that is 2. Question number 10. The translation of Gita into English in 1784, called Bhagavad Gita, marked, in William Jones' opinion, an event that made it possible for the first time to have a reliable impression of Indian literature. Who was the translator? Yes, the translator was, of course, Sir Charles Wilkins, and he was an English typographer, an Orientalist, and he was also the elected member of the Royal Society. He was the first translator of Bhagavad Gita into English, and he published the first typeset book in the language, earning himself the name of the Caxton of India. He also designed type for publications of books in Persian. He helped William Jones to establish the Asiatic Society of Bengal in 1784. And therefore, Mr. Jones said that this was the event which made it possible for the first time to recognize Indian literature.